It's finally all over, and I can't tell you how happy I am that Kyle Rittenhouse justice has finally been delivered to him, and all of this stuff can finally be put back behind him. So where we left off yesterday, well, I guess it's all kind of not terribly relevant. Most of it is just, the fact that he's been acquitted on all accounts, which is just the best possible outcome of this. But as we left last night, before the entirety of the coverage was finished on the day, it looked like one of the jurors, at least one of the jurors wanted to take home the jury instructions to go over, and that may or may not have been in violation of Wisconsin state law, and because the judge just didn't anticipate when he asked the jury and dismissed them at the end of the day if they had any further questions. He was kind of doing that whole thing where after somebody's done presenting whatever they have to do, and they say, does anybody have any questions? Never really anticipating anybody would actually, respond in the affirmative. The judge was hit with that by the Karen foreperson, who we kind of think might have been taking the jury instructions home with them. There was a lot of speculation as to what that could actually mean. Does that mean that they're trying to take home the jury instructions to just parse out a couple of different words that are on there in order to try to justify their own warped idea? Or was it the rest of the people that were potentially on the jury as well, the other 9, 10, maybe even 11 people that are there? It's like, look, the weekend is coming. We're not going to sit here for another fucking day. It's all 11 of us who want acquittals, and you're the one who's hung up on it, so you better figure this fucking shit out, because they ended up just punching out a couple hours early. Like, they were done at 4 o'clock, mostly because it's like they couldn't come to a consensus. So maybe it was just, listen, bitch, take these fucking instructions home, get your shit together, see if you can parse anything out, because they ended up having the full acquittal verdict from the jury even before lunch. I think it got read local time, at least for me, it was just before 12. And I can't remember exactly, maybe it goes into it, it's not really terribly important, but it was right before lunch, so I think it was about 11:30 my time, so local time for Kenosha, that would have been about 12:30 that it was read in court. And justifiably so, Kyle broke down. He kind of realized that, oh fuck, after that reckless discharge, or at least the charge that was centered around Richie McGinnis, the one that maybe, it kind of could have been offered up as a compromise, that one got dismissed second off. After that went through, it started to come through. It's like, holy fuck, I'm going to be acquitted. I can't believe it. And at the end of it, he just collapsed in the courtroom and everybody felt it. I'm unbelievably happy that this can finally be put behind for Kyle. And we'll just go over it right now, because I'm just completely and utterly overjoyed with this as of right now. So, jurors acquitted Kyle Rittenhouse on all accounts Friday. The jury reached a verdict at just after, 12:10. If I would have just rolled down a little bit, would have figured that out and would have saved a bunch of rambling, but whatever. Now, local time, as the foreman read aloud the Kenosha verdict shortly afterwards. Actually, it wasn't the forewoman, it was the or foreman. There wasn't a foreman, it was a forewoman, like has been previously noted, and it was the clerk that read it out. So let's be honest, Rittenhouse, 18, sat quietly before the verdict was read. Afterwards, he started shaking and breathing heavily. He hugged his lawyer. Well, actually, Sheriff Easy, who he was sitting right next to, offered up the hug, because he literally hit the ground after the fifth count of not guilty was reached by the verdict, and justifiably so. He could have been going away for at least 15, if not his entire life, in a fucking cage for no goddamn reason. So realizing that for the first time in over a year, because you remember, all of this happened August 25th, 2020, and this has been hanging over his head for over a fucking year, 14 months. The specter of doom that has been completely and utterly unjustified has finally been released off his shoulders, and it's just a great day. It really is a great day. Rittenhouse faced up to life in prison for 5 charges, including first-degree reckless homicide. A 6th charge was dropped on Monday. That was the minor in possession gun charge, which never should have been brought to begin with. And again, all of the different criticisms that we've talked about over the past couple of weeks, well, I guess 3 weeks in totality since this trial has started, they're still valid. The defense, Richards did a really poor job. Sheriff Easy didn't didn't object enough, and the prosecution, I hope something terrible happens to them, at least in a professional context. I hope their careers are totally fucking ruined for everything that they did in regards to Rittenhouse. But today, we can just kind of take off the weekend when it comes to just being full force against them. It's a moment. It's definitely a moment of celebration. Rittenhouse shot 3 men in Kenosha, justifiably so, we can say now. The jury of his peers has found that to be true. The first man, Joseph Rosenbaum, 36, remember, a convicted pedophile, was advancing on him. Now, Rosenbaum's hand was over the barrel of the rifle Rittenhouse held, according to expert testimony and video evidence. The closest witness said Rosenbaum lunged for the weapon. Yeah, that was Richie McGinnis, the guy who filmed everything that happened there, but leave it up to the prosecution to say, oh no, he used some kind of arthritic death grip in order to just block the shot, and then that ended up ricocheting off to the side. That just wasn't the case. After all, it doesn't even matter how much mischaracterization or misstating of the fucking law in their closing statements, it didn't sway them. Maybe it swayed one person, okay, that Karen who was up there who ended up being the forewoman. The one who, well, by at least people who have an expert idea on how juries are picked and know the demographics of the area, you can probably envision that person, right? Problem glasses, bob haircut, some highlights as well, just has a air of superiority, and they just want to lord their power over somebody. It doesn't even matter who it is, okay? They want to have the ultimate power, and who else could have more power than the foreperson of a jury? Well, time was up, bitch. You had to fucking finally reserve those powers because nobody else was going along with you, okay? Because what could have very likely happened, and the longer this went on, it became more and more of a reality as much as just a legal theory. It could have been very easily a hung jury because you need, regardless, okay, guilty or not guilty on all of the charges, the jury has to be unanimous in their consent, okay? There can't be a majority. Okay, it couldn't be 11-1 they find him not guilty on all of the charges. It has to be unanimous. So if there's one holdout, which is always incredibly unlikely, just like with the Chauvin trial, okay, when there was a couple of guys or a couple of people we don't even know who were on that or who was on that jury to begin with. Well, we do, but we don't know if anybody was holding out. But if there's a couple of people just holding out, eventually their resolve gets chipped away, and that's once again what happened. But oh, we're so worried about all the consequences afterwards if we were to acquit. Oh, we're worried about getting doxxed, and we're worried about the backlash. Well, we got a picture of outside the courthouse here, and it's just a bunch of media right now. And this is another thing that really goes in its favor, and another reason why I don't think there's going to be a lot of rioting over the weekend, mostly because A, it's fucking cold, and you're in Wisconsin, alright? Everybody's out there already bundled up, and this is midday, and it's only supposed to get a lot more frigid as the weekend goes on. So again, that's going to be a deterrent for these fair weather protesters. And then again, there's not that many people there unless everybody's supposed to be coming in over the weekend. It's like, okay, again, there's also, for better or for worse, maybe this was jury intimidation to begin with, but Tony Evers did call in the National Guard. There are 500 National Guard troops. Everybody's on high alert. So again, do they think that anything's really going to come out of this? And I would like to indulge everybody, and I think I'm just going to push this off because I got some plans over the weekend. It's going to be my favorite fucking weekend of the entire year because we're going to be decorating. My entire house is going to get decorated with Christmas decorations. The backdrop is going to look different on Monday, and I'm just going to get completely off the fucking internet from the time that I finish and upload this video right here. I'm just going to be taking it completely off. So if I don't get back to your comments, please don't take it as a personal aside or a personal assault. I'm just going to be off until Monday. And at that time, I think unless there's something breaking over the weekend, the first video of the day is going to be a lot of fucking left-wing cope because oh, it's already getting pretty fucking spicy. And we only have one that I'm going to touch on because it's apparently the most legitimate president of all time, Joe Biden, because you remember he tweeted out a video that explicitly labeled Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist. Now, again, after everything that's all out there, Kyle shot, okay, he shot at one black guy who, you remember, tried to kick his fucking head in. And again, more information about Jump Kick Man, and again, that's more about the prosecution being completely and utterly corrupt, okay? Those are things that we should be talking about, again, further into the future. You should be disbarring Binger and fat-ass fucking Kraus. Because the looks on their faces after the verdicts were read, it's like, oh, okay, they were expecting to fucking win? Like, have you seen your case? But the cope is going to be tremendous. It's already leaking out. Like, the Washington Post has a headline, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted but not vindicated. No, I think a full acquittal tends to lead you down the path that he's been vindicated on all of his charges. And which fucking court case were you watching anyways? All of the video evidence points, but whatever. It's a moot point, okay? And there's been a lot of retarded takes out there, especially the ACLU. But again, like I said, we're just going to be addressing one person, and that's Joe Biden, because at the center of all of this, he's the man who's supposed to be the great uniter on all of this. But it just, at least his statement, because today he's getting a colonoscopy for literally he was at Walter Reed. So, for 90 minutes today, we had the first female president in United States history. Kamala Harris had control of the reins, at least for 90 minutes. And thankfully, I don't think any wars were started, but it was close. It was close. And if I didn't scroll down the comments, mostly because I don't care, but this is the only reaction we're going to read today. Like I said, we're just going to gather up all of the fucking cope that happens over the weekend and then just probably just laugh at them first thing on Monday. How about that? I think that'll be fun. Biden reacts to Rittenhouse verdict. Jury system works and we have to abide by it. Cope harder, you fucking fossil. President Joe Biden says he stands by the jury's decision Friday to declare Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all 5 charges filed against him. Let's just run that back one more time because, God, it feels so good to say. Declared Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all 5 charges filed against him. I just love to say it. After returning home from a routine medical examination at Walter Reed Hospital in Maryland, and the old toilet snake up his poop chute, Biden told reporters that he didn't watch the trial. Sure. Look, I stand by what the jury has concluded, Biden said in response to the question of the comments last year about the Rittenhouse case. The jury system works and we have to abide by it. Rittenhouse 18 was acquitted by everybody on the jury. Let's just run it back one more time. A panel of 7 women, 5 men in the shooting deaths of 2 individuals, justifiably so. The assailants now, they aren't victims anymore. Kyle is not a murderer either. God, it's so fun to say. And for wounding another during a night of protests, riots, and violence in Kenosha, Wisconsin on August 25th, 2020. Rittenhouse claimed self-defense, and it was proven. As the jury was reading the verdict early Friday, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the administration is in communication with local law enforcement agencies amid potential unrest after the verdict. Very fucking unlikely. So Governor Tony Evers, a Democrat and also equally as old and decrepit, no verdict will be able to bring back the lives of Anthony Huber and Joseph Rosenbaum. Yeah, they shouldn't have tried to kill Kyle. Or heal Gaze Grosskreutz injuries. Again, apply is appropriate. Just as no verdict can heal the wounds or trauma experienced by Jacob Blake and his family. Fuck you. How about the unfair prosecution? How about the malicious prosecution that the Rittenhouse family had to deal with over these 14 months? It's just highly politicized horseshit. No ruling today will change our reality that Wisconsin, that we have to work to do towards equity, accountability, and justice that communities across our state are demanding and deserve. Again, I know you're trying to work in your whole social justice ideology, but again, it doesn't matter. I don't think that Evers is running again for governor, and I think his election's up in 2022. So the only way that you avoid these types of show trials from happening again is if you stop voting for these fucking idiots that allow this shit to perpetuate. This is one of those idiots that thought that last year's summer of fucking unmitigated violence and riots was a part of the summer of love. God, it's so funny. Yeah.
A ruling today in justice that commutes across our state are demanding and deserve. Ever is encouraged. Any efforts or action aimed at sowing division are unwelcome in our state and will only hinder that healing.
Yeah, we know. We know. You're also perpetrating it as well. But, you know what, guys? This is definitely a big fucking victory. And justice was definitely served today. And I couldn't be more happy for Kyle. He's an 18-year-old kid that got wrapped up in this. Just a disaster of a trial. Malicious prosecution out the fucking wazoo, if I may be so bold. And now he can get on with his life. Take those funds and get the fuck out of Antioch. Get the fuck out of Wisconsin. Go live your life somewhere else where you're going to have a much freer existence. But yeah, we'll see what happens over the weekend. I'm not going to be paying attention to it. We got our fucking W here this afternoon. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.